over the past 15 years, I've used periods of ghost mode, monk mode to chase after one specific goal at a time. Maybe it was two goals, but typically one, whether it was going into the Marine Corps at the age of 19, being in combat when I was 20, doing 4 years in the Marines, and getting certified as a personal trainer when I got out. Now, having coached over 100 men, helped them transform their lives, finishing my bachelor's degree. Maybe it was getting into corporate world, going into sales, building my own personal training business, starting YouTube, creating content, coming up with the brand of the Ascended Man, doing fitness modeling in the past, which I did for 4 or 5 years. Every single season, there was a very specific focus. And you can't be spread too thin. But right now, there's probably something in your life that you really want to improve. And you're thinking about doing this period of monk mode, right? Ghost mode. There's a ton of value into it. And maybe it's you wanting to attract beautiful women. You're struggling with confidence. Maybe you need to fix your body and you're trying to get ahead with that. You want to get the six pack. You just want to look good with your shirt off. Maybe it's in your career and your finances, or maybe you're starting a business or a skill set. Whatever it is, you've got to focus on, pick that one thing and go all in it for like 6 months, bro. Because it's so much easier to get ahead if you do that, right? You're working the weekends, you're cutting distractions. Most people today are not doing this. That's the problem with society, is everybody's just kind of drifting along, coasting along. But this is a true hack. And I mean, really, the people who are truly getting ahead in their life recognize that there's a ton of value in putting your blinders on like a horse in a race and going all in. So let me tell you about the first time I really did this. I really felt this in my life. So I decided to go into the Marines straight out of high school. But leading up to that, I had made the decision about a year and a half prior to graduating high school. I graduated high school in 2010. And it was in my junior year, I decided that I wanted to go into the Marine Corps straight out of high school. So I was like 17 when I started prepping. And I was going on runs every day. I was running like 2-3 miles a day. I started for a year and a half. I was running at least 2-3 miles a day. I was working out in the gym more to get my body ready, to get in good physical shape. I was truly callousing my mind and building my body to get ready a year and a half before I even went to boot camp. And then what they do is, about 6 months to a year from you getting your ship date to boot camp, which means that that's the day that they ship you off to boot camp, right? To Parris Island, South Carolina. Generally about 6 months to a year, you're in what's called the pulley program. And a couple times a week, can't remember, this is a long time ago, but a couple times a week, you meet up with other pulleys. You're in a pool of other future recruits. They're going to go to boot camp, okay? And we're doing these workouts and they are grueling because we're with other guys who are currently in the Marine Corps and they're pushing us, and it's, an hour, 2 hours just getting a crap beat out of us. And so I did that for about a year leading up to boot camp. And then we go to boot camp, and the boot camp is 13 weeks. And it was so hard, man. It was so hard. And every single thing 13 weeks there, truly just breaking us down mentally, physically, emotionally, getting the crap beat out of us, and then graduating. It's the proudest moment that I ever felt, because for the past, couple years, at least 2 years, I'd been preparing for this mentally, physically. And it was my first actual proudest moment, because I had a goal and I went after, and I was a new man when I graduated. Now, then I went into infantry, and then, you think you're somebody in Marine Corps boot camp, you graduate, you think you're cool. Then you go to your unit, wherever you were. And I went to infantry, and then it started over again. And the second major goal I had was to get a six pack. I never had a six pack before, never had an actual defined six pack. And so it was in December of 2011, we deployed to Afghanistan. So I'm 20 years old. And this is about a year after boot camp. Yeah, I was in Afghanistan. So we deployed to Afghanistan, and my goal was to get shredded, because I knew that, 7 months over in Afghanistan, carrying, 40, 50, 60 pounds every single day. I'm spending a ton of energy, physically, mentally, emotionally just exhausted, calorie deficit. I mean, you're eating muscle mass because we were, food and sleep deprived and just, exhausted. You're standing post for 4 hours, you know, um, 4 to 8 hours a day when you're going on foot patrols for walking, 5, 6, 12, 15 miles. And I knew, 7 months, I was just going to lose a ton of weight. But I worked out every single day. I said, hey, I want to get a six pack. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because most people can't get it. Most people can't get it. But that was my goal because I knew I wasn't going to get jacked. But at least if I can get a six pack, have some nice abs, it'll be cute and everything. All right, cool. So I did that. I trained my abs every day. I was, I had seen Zac Efron back in the day, and I think it was Tobey Maguire from Spider-Man. And guys, we're talking about 2011, 2012, okay? And, I looked at those guys because we're probably like around a similar size. And I thought that can be me. And so I did it, bro. I was training every day. I was running every day in Afghanistan. Bro, every single day I was out running in Afghanistan on our base. 2 to 6 miles a day. I was doing, generally 30 minutes to an hour of cardio a day on top of everything else. And I was hitting the weights. And I was, training my abs every single day, body weight. I was doing weighted stuff because the advice that I was told was you have to absolutely crush your abs like dynamite. And it was this Navy corpsman that was with me. He basically put me on like a program. We used to work out together. And he said, you have to destroy your abs like dynamite. You have to do a lot of cardio because that's really going to be the big thing is obviously defining your abs. You have to build them up and train them like other muscle groups, right? But because you use your core generally so much during the day, you have to obliterate them like dynamite. You have to, abdominal assault. You have to assault your abs because they recover much quicker. And so I did that, and I did a lot of cardio, and it's like calorie deficit, cardio, and slaying your abs, right? And I did that every single day. And that was the one thing that stuck with me. And sure enough, I went over there. I was able to do, I think, 10 pull-ups when I went over there, but I did pull-ups every single day. I was doing 20 plus pull-ups when I left. I came back. I had a six pack. And the first time I ever saw it, and actually one of the guys that I was with, we didn't have mirrors over there. So he took a picture of me right before we left. Because I didn't want to see it until, I didn't want to see myself until I got there. I had a vision of what I wanted to look like, but I didn't want, and I didn't have any mirrors, but I didn't want to see myself until the end. I literally did not see my abs for 6 months. Can you imagine that? And so my buddy snapped a picture of me, and the smile on my face was because that was the first time that I had ever really done something really, really hard aside from going to boot camp and then going to infantry school and then doing all this stuff. And we're standing there in this tent, and he takes a picture, and the lighting is perfect and everything. He's like, man, you look shredded, dude. And I was so happy. And then we ended up going to Miami. I saved up like 20 grand on deployment, but I blew all my money because I just turned 21 in Romania coming back. I blew all my money within 6 months, and I got back. I was dating a chick, and I went to Miami, and it was crazy. 21 years old. But anyway, I had a six packed up, and I poured everything I could into it. In 6 months, I got it. Mind you, I had no definition of my abs before. I had no abs. I did not. It took me 6 months, guys. And I see people struggle for years to do this. So it doesn't matter what your goal is. It doesn't matter what the goal is, but I've used periods of monk mode. I've taken that application and I've used it across my life. So, I mean, when I got out, I locked in on becoming a certified personal trainer. I did that. I went to college. I got my bachelor's degree. I mean, it took me 7 years to finish, but I was working full time. I started my own personal training business when COVID hit. I was focusing on that. And then I took my physique to the next level because for so many years, for probably 4 or 5 years, I was very, very stagnant with my physique because it really takes unlocking a different level of a beast to get to that next level. Like I'm talking, you guys have seen some of my pictures, but I was shredded, like crazy shredded. Now, I don't walk around that crazy shredded, but I said, hey, you know what? I want to go to the next level. I want to have that top 1% physique and I want to be a fitness model. And I did that for about 4 or 5 years. And it's because I locked in. I truly just locked in on that and I got it. And then I decided I wanted to get a better job. So I got into corporate sales. I got a corporate job. And then every single thing, it was just like when I wanted to get a new car, I was just focusing on the money. I was locked in, bro. So what you got to do is you got to, how can you do this, right? You've got to identify the main goal. Like, identify the goals that you have, but pick one main goal to go all in on for 6 months. Okay. And you've got to cut the distractions from your life, cut the noise from your life, stop, going out as much, unplug. Like, you're going to have to sacrifice, there's going to be sacrifices that are going to be made with the partying, friends and family. I mean, you want to try to have as balanced of a life as possible, but ultimately it's pretty damn hard. If you want to get exceptional results at anything, you're not going to have a balanced life for periods of time. How balance actually exists is you focus really heavily on one or two goals at a time to really build. Like right now for me, it's business, it's work, and YouTube. Okay, that's like my main goals right now. And other stuff is gonna suffer in the process. But then what happens is once you get momentum there, then maybe you have a season where you're spending more in the relationship bucket, and then there's a season where you're spending more on your physique. So you can do it all at once. But if you spread yourself too thin, you're not going to be able to really truly get ahead. So balance exists when you go all in on one or two goals, you pour into that. And then when you get to a certain period of time, 6 months, a year, then you focus more on another area. And then that's where the balance kind of comes in. So, but you're going to have to cut the distractions, the negativity, the people that are in your life, the things that aren't aligned with where you want to go. That man that you want to be, the results that you want. You have to think about what it looks like. You have to first visualize it, because before you can actually achieve it, you have to mentally believe and see yourself as that guy. And then you have to align your daily actions in progress towards your goal. And that means the people, places, things that don't align with that, you have to cut it. It is what it is. You're going to lose friends. You're going to, feel like you're maybe kind of isolated, but that's just a part of the process. Because think about, you want to get something exceptional. You are the exception, right? Type in the comments right now. I want to know, what's the biggest distraction you struggle with in your life right now? I don't know, whether it's doom scrolling, whether it's your phone, whether it's partying, whether it's girls, like whatever your biggest distraction is, video games, sports, drop it in the comments right now. And just like I said, understand that at the end of the day, you will have to work harder than everyone else. I'm telling you, you are going to have to work harder than everyone else. Doesn't matter what people say. I'm here, no BS, shooting straight with you. It's going to require a different unlock of a beast. There's no pussy out here. Like, you can kind of like, tiptoe around it. You can do this. You can do a little bit of that. Like, no, you got to go all in, bro. You have to go all in. You got to give it everything you got. And you have to show up consistently, and when you don't feel like it, and especially when you don't feel like it. Because you're not going to feel like it most of the time. That's why I always say you have to have a strong why attached to it, right? Why? Because that gives you the drive, the motivation, or the discipline to show up when it is rooted in a strong why. Maybe it's just because, you want to make more money, or you want to help, you want to attract more women. I always think the why has to be attached to others by some way, because when you're serving other people, that's what life is all about. But whatever it is, you got to go all in. You're going to have to work harder than anyone you know. And I say, feed your mind with positivity. Listen to people. I think reading positive things, I could tell you, Tony Robbins, Ed Milet, listen to people that, maybe you don't know. I mean, there was so many years in this lonely chapter when I'm trying to get ahead and get exceptional at anything, where I didn't have a lot of people to talk to because no one understood what I was going through. And so a lot of the time that I spent was listening, was reading to mentors that I never met. Because there is the lonely chapter. And if you think that you've always got to have someone with you, you always got to be with someone, you got to be entertained, you're never going to be able to get ahead, because you can't just be alone and lock in. And there is the lonely chapter that's, where you are, you want to get to here, but yet, you don't fit in with the other friends that you've had. They don't support you. They don't understand you. But then the people that you want to be with, well, you haven't got plugged in yet, because you're nobody yet. And you haven't, done anything to where people want to associate with you. Okay. Not the saying, not to be mean, but I understand that. I've felt that before. And even now I'm like that because there's always levels to it. Even now, it's like, I'm in a season where I'm trying to get to the next level and everything, but present with where I'm at, and I'm just giving it everything I have towards my top level goals right now. Okay. And again, like lots of people won't understand you. At the end of the day, most people, but that's the thing. Who cares? Most people won't understand. It doesn't matter what you want. Whatever your goal is, whatever you want, go after and get it. Most people aren't going to understand you. And a lot of people close to you are going to talk shit. And that's just how it is. But you don't want to be most people. We don't want to live a mediocre life. Like, we don't want to be mediocre. Like, we don't want to do what everyone else is doing. That's the thing. That's what I try to tell you guys. We're trying to get away from that. So who gives what they think at the end of the day, man? Seriously. You've got to rely on discipline over motivation. If, you have motivation for a period of time, motivation is fleeting. If you get the wave, ride it, right? Ride the wave. But you cannot rely on it. You have to rely on discipline. Discipline is what is going to get you through. It's going to get you the results that you want, whether it's making more money, whether it's improving your social skills to attract more beautiful women, whether it is with your, your business, your career, whether it's with your body, want to get a six pack, or you just want to get in good shape. It requires discipline. That means chipping away at that goal outside of your 9 to 5, early before work, maybe in your lunch break, maybe late at night, on the weekends. Okay. It's chipping away. Even with YouTube, like literally last night, look, last night was a Saturday night. I was up from about 6 p.m. until 2:30 a.m. starting to build out this course that I'm launching for the Ascended Man. I was working on who does that? Like, because I care, it's my mission. And I have objectives and I have deadlines for that. And I know that it's important to set objectives and deadlines so you can stay on schedule and move towards your goals. You got to hold yourself accountable. Having a rigid schedule. You have to be militant. When you're really trying to get ahead, you've got to be militant and rigid and disciplined with your schedule. Very structured, time block everything. Reminders, priorities, to-do lists, habit trackers. I think the habit tracker is absolutely incredible. I highly encourage you using a habit tracker. But if you're wanting help to attract beautiful women, improve your confidence, like figure out your purpose, get ahead with your physique, I have a free training actually. It's in the video description. Check it out. And let me know what you guys are going through right now. I want to know, what's the one thing that you want to go monk mode on? What's the one thing you want to go monk mode on to get ahead? And subscribe to the channel. I'm dropping videos all the time. And share with a friend, bro. Share with a friend. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.